Hello everyone, Basic Ollie here and welcome to another episode of This Week on iRacing. Now, if you've never watched this series before and this is your first time tuning in, this is basically a series where I go over the races for the upcoming week on iRacing and pick some of my favourite ones, some of the popular ones, and try and give you some tips and helpful info for the week coming up before it goes live on the service. So, with that in mind, let's start off with the IMSA series, shall we? So we start off with IMSA Open and IMSA Fixed because there is an IMSA Endurance this weekend, but it's not at Silverstone, and I'll explain that why a little bit later. But for IMSA Open and IMSA Fixed, we are heading to Silverstone this week, okay? And because it's October and it's in the UK, there's a chance of rain. Only a 6% chance in the Open, but a 28% chance of rain in the Fixed. Track temps, you're probably looking at mid to low 20s before it even starts raining. The weather isn't particularly great. It's very, very misty, very foggy. Lots of clouds everywhere. So I do expect some low temperatures. Plus, it's getting to that time of year as well where winter is literally just around the corner. So track temp is going to naturally be low now for, I think, any European track until next year now. So, yeah, expect the track temps to be a little bit lower. Tips for this one, watch for off tracks. Maggers and Beckett's, it's quite easy to get off tracks. It's actually really easy, so do watch out for that. It is a multi-class race, so you'll have LMP2s and GTPs with you if you're in a GT3. For multi-class, Silverstone is actually a very, very good circuit. It's super wide. It's a very, very wide track, so it's very easy for the faster classes to overtake you. So as long as you're in a GT3, just stick to your time, stick to your line. You should be absolutely fine. To be honest with you, it should be one of the more less dangerous, I suppose, if you're in a GT3 or maybe even LMP2 with GTPs dive bombing you. But yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult. I don't know what it's going to be like participation-wise. Silverstone, I enjoy the circuit quite a bit, but it doesn't seem to get the participation levels that it really deserves, if you ask me. So yeah, don't think participation levels will be particularly high, especially with a little bit of chance of rain added into the mix as well. But yeah, that is your IMSA Open and IMSA Fixed for this week. I'll explain a little bit more about where IMSA Endurance is later on in this video. Next up, we have the GT Sprint Series, the GT Endurance Series, and the Fanatec GT3 Challenge. And all three, as usual, as they follow each other track-wise, is going to Gilles Villeneuve. So, the Canadian Grand Prix for you F1 fans out there. And unfortunately, for people that do not like rain, you are going to struggle this week. Well, if you're doing the Open anyway. So, Open has a 98% chance of rain. So, yes, it is going to rain. I cannot foresee a future where that 2% chance of it not raining is going to be a thing. But we shall see. We shall see. Fixed, if you don't want a bit of rain, fixed is the way to go. Also, the Endurance this weekend. So the GT Sprint has a 98% chance of rain, but the Endurance has 0% chance of rain. So I suppose if you want to get some practice in this weekend for the 3 hour around the circuit, your best bet is to go into the fixed race because the Open is just going to be absolutely pouring it down. But if you're a fan of rain, if you're a fan of tricky conditions, then GT Sprint might be the one for you. Now, I love this track. I think it's a great track. You do have to be, you normally have to be patient with overtakes. You get to be even more patient now with the rain, that's for sure. You're going to have to watch out for the white lines on the edge of the track. The track is quite slim. It's quite skinny in places, so do make sure that you don't break on those white lines because it will cause you a massive headache as you smash into the wall at about 150 miles an hour. Nobody really wants that. Don't do a Robert Kubica if you can avoid it. Track temp, same again. Like, it's just going to be mid to low 20s. It just will be. With the rain, it's even going to be even lower than that. You'll probably get sub 20 degrees. So track temp wise, you don't have to worry about that at all. And yeah, just be a little bit patient with the overtakes because it's going to be raining. And that should be your GT Open, your GT3 Fix, and your GT Endurance sorted for the week. Participation level wise, I don't know. It's one of those ones, again, it's like it's a good track, but because it's, let's say, it's not one of the big top 10 shall we say, on this service. Participation levels do seem to drop quite a lot, and especially with Open being 98% chance of rain, this is going to be one of those series that it's a bit quiet this week, I think. I don't think participation levels are going to be particularly high. If you would like to try and farm some IR, this might be a good week. If you just keep it clean and steady, you could gain a nice bit of IR this week. I can't imagine the strength fields will be particularly high for this week anyways. Right, let's move on. All right, then, let's head to Laguna Seca in the Falcon Sports Car Challenge. Now, this is a popular series in itself, and now that it has gone to a free track, I expect this series to be one of the more popular series this week. That's for sure. So, yeah, we're in Laguna Seca in this multi-class series, so this involves LMP3s and GT4s. It's a popular track when it comes around. It's a half-decent track, and it is free. And if a track is free, that is going to bring people in. It always does. Free tracks always are popular when they're on the calendar, so I expect no change in circumstances here. Whether you're an LMP3 or GT4 driver, this should be the one for you this week. Temperatures, you're looking about mid to low 30s, so not boiling hot, far from it, but a tad warm. A tad on the warmer side for the track. So, yeah, certainly warmer than the other series I've covered so far. Listen, it's Laguna Seca. It's a multi-class race, so it's going to be a little bit chaotic, so do be wary of that. The corkscrew, like I said, don't screw the corkscrew, as in don't outbrake yourself. So easy to do. And if you're in a GT4, you're going to expect some sends from the LMP3, so do be wary about that. And rain, of course, I don't think I've ever seen it rain at Laguna Seca, and you ain't going to see it this week either. It's got a 0% chance of rain. So once again, if you're looking for a series that, you know, is completely dry for the week and you don't have to worry about rain because either your PC is not a huge fan of it or just the fact that you just don't like driving the rain regardless, so you just rather go to a series where it is completely dry for the week, then this will be the series for you. But yeah, lots of fun this series. It does get good participants, but I think it could do with more. I think it's a fantastic series. And also, you don't need to worry about pit stops either. 30-minute races. It's good fun. Once the race is done, you can quickly jump over to either a GT4 fixed or an LMP3 fixed whilst you wait for the next one. So, yeah, what's not to love? A great series, great cars, great fun. You know, if you're looking for a good series this week, this is the one for you. Now, do you remember earlier on in this episode when I told you I will go back to the IMSA Endurance? Well, I'm going to do that now, and the reason I'm doing it now instead of doing it with IMSA is because actually it is a different track for once, and it is basically just Petit Le Mans, but a much shorter version. So it's the 2-hour and 40-minute version of Petit Le Mans this weekend. So if your race didn't go particularly well this weekend, I'm sure like many others, this could be a little bit of a redemption, really. So this weekend, the IMSA Endurance Series, so the 2-hour and 40-minute races do go to Road Atlanta, and they're pretty much the same conditions as what they were for Petit Le Mans. So not too much that I really need to say about that because you've all pretty much done it, and you all know what to expect here. You know, the glaring obvious is the sends, the dive bombs, the off tracks. Just yeah. It's one of those. Should be good fun. I think participation levels will be high again, though, because it is, well, it's a really cool combo. It's chaotic. It's fantastic. It's got a mixture of absolutely everything. So, 2-hour and 40-minute race around Road Atlanta. Should be a lot of fun. Once again, apologies if I'm bringing up any battle scars, shall we say, from this weekend's Petit Le Mans. But, yeah, should be good, this one. And then lastly, some sad news, really, and that is that it's the last round of VLN. So the Nrburgring Endurance Championship is the last round this weekend. And then it will not be back until about March, April next year, I believe. I'm not exactly sure on the date. So, yeah, it's a 4-hour race around the Nrburgring VLN layout. Includes 5 different classes, so plenty of cars and classes to pick from. Track temperature-wise, mid to low 20s once again, with it being in Europe and becoming, end of the year, really close to the winter now. You do have a faster pair in this series, so do use it wisely. Don't don't use it too early if you could avoid it. Yeah, there's a 0% chance of rain, so you don't have to worry about the rain at all for this race, unlike the last race where it had like a 70% chance of rain anyways. But yeah, sad to see it go, VLM, but you know, a 6-month break, and then when it comes back again, I imagine it'll be as popular as ever. And I imagine this weekend it'll be quite popular as well. Last one of the season for quite some time, and yeah, I don't think there's too much else really going on this weekend. So yeah, this might be one to go for. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Again, please consider hitting the old like button if you have. Do subscribe to the channel for weekly updates on what you're going to get for iRacing and the upcoming week and all the live streaming and good stuff like that. And I'll catch you, beautiful, wonderful people, for the next one. Take care. Ta-da.